But he says in this verse that these signs will follow those who believe in my name. They'll cast out demons, they'll speak with new tongues, and they will take up serpents. Now, when he says they will take up serpents, he wasn't talking about these churches that we know we've seen news cast about and news documentaries on, things like that. Mostly in the Appalachians and stuff is where these churches are located. And most of them are Pentecostal churches, because Pentecostal, we're going to get all the Fruit Loops anyway, and we're going to get the blame for a lot of stuff anyway. And so, you know, they're most of the time they're Pentecostal churches. And I saw one a clip the other day where, well, during this deadly serpent thing, they were using that as a demonstration, talking about snakes. And this guy was in a church. He was preaching. And big old rattlesnake. He couldn't put his hand all the way around the rattlesnake. Big snake. He's holding that thing on while he's preaching. He's a shouting and going on. And he's speaking in tongues and all this kind of stuff. And he's doing all these things. And all of a sudden, that snake said, "Pow!" Bit him right in the side of his head in his ear. He started getting a little woozy. He went on for a few minutes, started getting a little woozy. And they finally had to practically towed him out of church. He didn't die. He didn't die, but he sure got to feeling woozy. He sure felt the effects of that. And yeah, that's right. His daddy did die from rattlesnake bite, and his time's coming. The snake bites you in the right place. Of course, now sometimes they build up immunity and all this thing. I understand that, but you got to get bit a lot to get that kind of immunity, with that kind of snake build up against it. But anyway, that's not what Jesus is talking about. He wasn't talking about tempting God. He wasn't talking about taking up snakes and stuff in a church service to show people what kind of faith you. That's foolishness. That's not faith. That's foolishness. Amen. Now, Paul sets the right example. And I'm spending more time here than what I meant to, since we're there, we're going to go ahead and go anyway. Paul gave the right example. Paul was on an island. When he was shipwrecked, it was on, I think it was Cyprus, and he was on the island, and he was gathering some sticks to build a fire. And the Bible says out of the sticks, a serpent latched onto Paul's hand. Because these serpents over in that part of the world, some of them, when they don't just bite you, strike, and then go on their way. They latch onto you. And by doing so, one of the deadliest snakes over there, you'll die within 20 minutes of his bite. A human being will die within 20 minutes because when he latches on you, he latches on to keep pumping poison into your system. I can't remember how many milligrams of poison they said he'll pump into you by the time he's finally, either he lets go or you get him off. He's constantly pumping venom into you. And it's probably one of these types of serpents that bit Paul. Because when Paul got bit, all the natives on that island, they were looking, Paul got bit, and he says he shook him off in the fire. And all these guys were standing around and saying, that man's toast. The Bible said they expected him to swell up and die. That's what they thought. Paul went on about his business. He shook him off in the fire, went on about his business. And they were amazed at how miraculous that was that Paul didn't even get sick. He shook him off fire, went on about his business. Now, in that case, I believe that's what the Lord's referring to. Or at least part of what the Lord's referring to. And he says if they drink anything deadly. Now, here's the qualifying word in this verse, especially on that statement. And if they drink anything deadly. Denoting possibility, not saying they will. Saying if, for some reason, they get on something dead. How many of you know that a lot of the medicines that you and I take even right now today, how many of you know that if those medicines aren't produced properly, they'll be poison to us? That taken in purest form, it would kill us. We take medicines that are taken from poisonous plants that would normally kill us otherwise. Poisonous frogs. Even